World War III is about to erupt after Trump just showed North Korea how he will annihilate them. The United States has been taking it on the chin from North Korea for far too long. The country of North Korea has been in turmoil for quite some time, and while we didn't feel like it was our job to go straighten them out at this time, they've now branched out and decided to point their dysfunction at us in the form of threats of total extinction. The petulant dictator who's running the show in the rogue nation has actually warned the whole world that he plans to strike anyone and everyone who would stand up to him, and America is at the top of that list. World leaders don't always telegraph their punches, but this particular one isn't really brains or brawn, he's just loud and arrogant. These actions have led the United States to move our military into position to neutralize any acts of war that the egomaniac Kim Jong-un might try to enact, but we've recently stepped things up. In light of North Korea's continued practice runs for striking the United States, we have done a test run of our own. The U.S. military decided to show the little nation how it's done, and what it's going to look like if they strike first. Via Daily Mail. The U.S. Air Force has successfully launched an intercontinental ballistic missile just days after North Korea tested its latest rocket, which could potentially hit NYC. An unarmed Minuteman III missile was fired from California's Vandenberg Air Force Base at 2:10 am local time on Wednesday. The Air Force Global Strike Command said a single reentry vehicle traveled roughly 4,200 miles across the Pacific Ocean where it struck a target in the Kwajalein Atoll. These test launches verify the accuracy and reliability of the ICBM weapon system, providing valuable data to ensure continued safe, secure and effective nuclear deterrent, an Air Force statement said. Military chiefs said the launch had been long planned and was not directly in response to North Korea's rapidly accelerating nuclear program. The missile, which weighs almost 80,000 pounds and has a range of 6,000 miles, is an element of the nation's strategic deterrent forces, reports state. The launch, which is the fourth of its kind this year, comes just days after North Korea conducted another ballistic missile test on Friday, the second in a month. The two-stage Hwasong-14 missile traveled 2,300 miles into space before coming back down off the coast of Japan's northernmost island, Hokkaido. U.S. and South Korean experts have analyzed Japanese footage capturing the rocket's re-entry vehicle shortly before it crashed into the sea. They said the video suggests it failed to survive the extreme heat and pressure after re-entering the Earth's atmosphere following its launch. But the apparent failure likely means the North will conduct more flight tests of the Hwasong-14 missile to ensure the warhead could survive the re-entry from space and hit its intended target, the analysts said. The Hwasong-14 ICBM, which was first tested on July 4, follows decades of effort by North Korea to obtain a nuclear deterrent against the United States. Analysis of the flight data from Hwasong-14's second test has suggested that more of the U.S. mainland, including Los Angeles, Chicago and New York City, is now in range of Pyongyang's weapons. However, whether North Korea can arm the missile with a nuclear warhead and protect it throughout the flight are different questions entirely. The analysis came as South Korean officials were drawing up plans for a surgical strike to take out any missile and North Korean nuclear facilities if orders are given to remove the dictator. According to reports, Taurus cruise missiles fired from F-15 fighters would be used to destroy the facilities if President Moon Jae-in gives the go-ahead in an emergency. The contingency measure would be initiated by the president's special forces, according to reports by Seoul newspaper Munhwa Ilbo. According to reports, the project is being overseen by South Korea's Joint Chiefs of Staff and the Ministry of National Defense. Donald Trump and his White House have also spoken about the latest North Korean tests. On Monday, the president said, "We'll handle North Korea. We're going to be able to handle them. It will be handled. We handle everything." Trump was sat with Defense Secretary James Mattis during a cabinet meeting at the time. Nikki Haley, the U.S. envoy to the United Nations, said yesterday that there was no point in holding a fruitless Emergency Security Council session, warning that another weak council resolution would be worse than nothing in light of the North's repeated violations. U.S. strategic bombers on Saturday flew over the Korean peninsula in a direct response to Friday's launch, and on Sunday American forces successfully tested a missile interception system which could be installed on the Korean peninsula. They may not be ready to take the entire nation out just yet, but they will be soon, and it won't be good if they allowed to continue. Our military is put in place to keep us safe, and while it's a controversial issue, many think that we should make the first move. North Korea has made its intentions clear, and waiting for them to strike first could mean a catastrophic loss of life, and that is just unacceptable. There are big concerns about what it would do to our trade relations with China, and it's valid to consider. However, it's also valid to consider that the best strategic move the United States can make right now is to put out an alert that we are not to be messed with. Maybe it would anger some, but they would probably keep it really quiet if we had the reputation of putting an end to our enemies, quickly and with lots of explosions.